Listen, don't be scared. Give it a shot. I think that you have to really do your homework and know what you're getting involved in. I mean, I think everybody's financial situation is different.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Reseller's Journey. Here is your host, eBay Joey.
Welcome to the show. I am your host, eBay Joey. Today's guest is known for taking his boys with him and finding amazing stuff from Ross, Marshalls, and Burlington. You can watch him source via Instagram Live. In addition, he is approaching 1,000 followers. He goes by the name Stevie.D.Reselling, but his government name is Steve. Welcome, and thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure, Joey. Thanks for having me, bud.
Yeah, anytime, man. How did you come up with the name Stevie D Reselling?
Stevie D. So my nickname's Stevie. It's named since childhood, obviously, and just tied along with the basic tag of what I do on the side and what helps provide some extra income from my family.
Nice. Definitely like it a lot. Where are you based out of?
I live in South Jersey. I'm about 15 minutes outside of Atlantic City. Um, it's not the area that it used to be about 15, 20 years ago. It's a struggling economy, actually, big time in this area. So, unless you're into a long time, job, the casino industry here is rough. So, luckily, I'm not in the casino industry. I'm in retail sales myself. I'm a retail manager. And, first thing that a retail manager wants to do is spend his time in more retail on his day off, right?
That's
Uh,
right. That's right. Yeah. Very similar background as you. I come from the retail industry, and it can be brutal at times because it's so dependent on the economy. So, are you born and raised from Jersey?
no, I was born in Miami, Florida. I grew up in Miami, was there till about 8 or 9 years old. Um, Moved back up to Jersey for work purposes for my parents. And parents divorced when I was 13. Dad went back to Miami, and my mother was originally from Jersey, so we stayed up here with her.
Oh, okay. How long total have you been in the Jersey area?
Um, like I said, I moved up here 8 or 9, so I've been up here now about 30 years total.
Okay. So, how long have you been doing reselling for?
I've been reselling in any kind of form really for the last 20 years. I mean, I am originally for a long time, I was a big yard sale and thrift guy. Before the whole eBay, boom, and especially the platforms now like Poshmark and Macari and all these places, I was a big local seller, reseller, whatever you could make money on, I was about it. And, you know, did that for years and stumbled upon some videos, started watching YouTube more and more to get some other ideas of revenue income. And, I stumbled into a lot of the, popular resellers that you see on Instagram now. Glenn Hustler Hacks being one of them, a couple other guys as well. And decided to take a dip into the retail arbitrage game. It was something that I wasn't really, a big fan of to begin with. Took a little bit of my capital and gave it a shot, and it's been very successful.
Okay. With that being said, what was the drive for you just to kind of enter the game? Like you were saying, you started with the yard sale, then you did the retail arbitrage. What was the main drive for you?
Well, the main thing I started seeing a little bit of the writing on the wall with the Goodwills and the Salvation Armies and some of the other thrift stores that, they were catching on to some of the trends and, that really, really low buy price, slowly started to increase. And there was a lot more people. It became really trendy and more people jumped into the thrifting game. So I said, let me try see if there's anything different out there. I was a big sneaker guy. I'm a big fashion guy. It's something that I'm into. So it kind of worked perfectly with my interests. Um, Two young boys as well. They might be young, but they're into fashion already at a young age. You got to have the hottest sneaker. You got to have the cool jersey. It's just it starts at a very young age. So you know, went out, took them out with me a couple times, and we caught the fever, and it's been a family affair pretty much ever since.
Yeah, I noticed that, and that's one thing that I really like about your Instagram, especially when you go live, because I'm a family man and I got two kids, and they're very young. They're one's a newborn and one's a toddler, But my goal is once they get older, I would love to take them just to kind of show them, hey, there's opportunities out there. If you want to work for yourself, you can make some extra cash. So I definitely appreciate, you taking your boys. And how do they like it?
Believe it or not, my younger one, who you see in the videos a lot with the mohawk, he's full of personality. He's obsessed with it. I mean, he's an animal. I take him in the store. You can take him out like any Instagram reseller, and he knows as much as any of them know. It's unbelievable. My older one, he's in it for the cash. I mean, he knows it inside and out. It's not his favorite thing to do. If we're out there, he's into it while he's out there, but it's a little bit more, work to get him off the couch or away from Fortnite or something like that to want to go do it. They both have, realized that there's money to be made. They have their own inventory. They use their own money to go out and source and find their own products. So they're becoming businessmen at young ages. And, listen, to be 8 and 10 years old and set yourself up to, have a decent little set of cash on the side when you hit those teenage years, they're starting to see the light. They understand it. So, we have a good time with it. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do they have any favorite stores or one store that they prefer over another? I mean, you guys, in a sense, are this little team. So are you guys all on the same page as far as what stores to hit, the routes?
Yeah, we have a couple specific routes. I have one that goes up. Anybody familiar with the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area? I got one that shoots up the Garden State Parkway, about an hour north. And, most of our routes will go, it's about a solid 8 hour day. So we have one up north. We have one that encompasses all of South Jersey. We have one that encompasses Central Jersey. And then we have a fourth one that typically goes through Philadelphia, southern parts of Pennsylvania, and wraps back around into Jersey. So we have four main routes that we go through. They don't particularly have a favorite over another. That, when they're out, they're into it. Whether it's Ross, Marshalls, Burlington, those are the main spots. Thrifting, they're, sometimes they're into it, sometimes they're not. They're really into the retail portion of it with me.
So is that you mentioned thrifting, we mentioned the retail arbitrage as far as the Marshalls, the Burlington. How much are you focusing on with your side hustle? Is it the thrifting game or is it more of the new products from the big retail chains?
I'm probably at this point now, I would say about like 90-10 on the retail arbitrage side at this point. The thrift game in my area is really dried up. A lot of them have either closed up or it's just become oversaturated with resellers. There's not much product in there anymore. Luckily, I'm in an area that has quite a bit of stores. I mean, Burlington's, originated out of Jersey. They're based out of here. We have quite a few of them in the area. I think in Jersey alone, there's 25 Rosses, almost 20 Burlingtons. It's a big area and there's a lot of stores. I have 3 in my vicinity, but I have to travel to the next set of them at least 30 minutes. So, I mean, that's where we focus is in pretty much in retail altogether at this point.
Okay. How often are you sourcing with the family or just even by yourself? Because I know kids get summer breaks when they're out of school. So what's the schedule look like when they're out of school? And then what does the schedule look like when they're in school?
So right now they just went back to school last week. So it's me, I have 2 weekdays off pretty much. So when they're back in school, my 2 weekdays off are 2 8 hours, days of myself sourcing by myself. My wife's off on weekends. So when she's running around, taking the kids to sporting events and stuff like that, they're both play full-time travel soccer and my older one plays ice hockey. If she's in another city, she'll hit the stops in between games or after the games. My wife does understand the game as well. She's actually, pretty invested in it and she knows what's good, what's worth money. So that helps as well. During the school or during the summer, I should say, when they're off, I cut it back a little bit with them. We do one full day and then another day we will, do some family things. We'll go out, have fun. We might hit a couple spots on the way home, depending on where we went that day. I don't want to kill them with it. I don't want to burn them out. Sometimes we'll go out to dinner at night on a weeknight and just hit a couple spots by the restaurant, just have fun with it and break it up. But this is really where it gets serious now, is when they go back to school, getting ready for quarter 4. I'm out every day when I work. I'm allotted to get out on the road and take a lunch break. So I hit my local stores about 5 to 6 times a week, all 3 of them.
Wow, so you guys are really out there.
Yeah.
Now, was your wife always on board as far as the sourcing? Because my wife, man, it is a struggle just to kind of get her to, hey, let's stop here. We're driving there.
Yeah.
And so it's been a long process, but I like to hear other resellers that are in a similar boat that have a spouse, how you get them to kind of, come alongside and let's go for the journey.
Yeah, kind of where it started, I'll give you the quick run, was, in the thrifting game, she was super skeeved out about going to some of these thrift stores in the area. I got some that are super clean. I got some that are some real dark, low lit stores, need remodeling big time. And, when I told her, look, this is what I do for side money, of course, it's like, how are you making money selling used clothes? And I was actually really, really big in selling starter jackets, believe it or not. That was one of the first big hustles that I got into. And, picking up jackets for $5 to $25 and selling them, some of them upwards of $350 just for a single starter jacket, and
wow.
When she started seeing some of that bankroll come in, she's like, you got to be kidding me. People are paying $200 for a used jacket from 30 years ago. And, she started to become a little bit of a believer. And, after years of doing that, and, the yard selling and stuff like that, yard selling got tough because of my job. I work on weekends pretty much all weekend long. So that killed that portion of it. I said, hey, listen, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take $500 out of this thrift money. I never pinch from my own credit cards. Never. I only use the money that I have. I reinvest into the business and I take profits out of it. And I never take too much that'll drain my account. So I said, look, I'm going to take $500. I'm going to give this a shot. If I lose, that's it. I said, and that was about 2 years ago. And from that $500 investment, I've never pinched one penny of my own money. And it's turned into a serious game now. I mean, it's a point now where it's a legit extra income that I can pass along to her, whether it's for, kids' tuition as far as sports are concerned, which, I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with hockey, but ice hockey alone is $2,500 a season just for the tuition with all the other travel. It's unbelievable. And then, everything that goes along with it. And when she started seeing some of those, here's 1,000, here's 1,000, here's 2,000, it was like, hey, this is serious, So, I took her out a couple times with me into the field. She took a weekday off with me. She's normally off on weekends, and kind of showed her the ropes and showed her what it's about. And listen, like most ladies, what do they like to do? They like to go out and shop. So, she gets invested. She picks up some handbags here and there, some high-end clothing, things like that, that I don't have a ton of interest in. But, I've learned a little bit from her. She's learned a lot, as far as the men's apparel and shoe game is. And, listen, it's not like she's going to go out all day by herself and grind, but she'll definitely stop and hit a couple stores on the way home and see if she can make some extra cash on the side. I mean, she came home 2 days ago and she had a bag of stuff from Ross and probably had about $150, $200 in profit. And I was like, that's my girl. That's what I'm talking about. So.
That has to be awesome. But definitely, for people out there that are listening, if your spouse is not on board right away, it does take time. And I think depending on the personality of the individual, you just got to stick with it. And like you said, they see the profits and the opportunities. And hey, when they're ready, they'll make it happen and make the jump.
That's the key. You can't force the subject, man. If you want to do it as a family, you got to slowly get them into it. Show them that it's worth the time and effort. Listen, there were days we went out and found nothing, and she had to really understand that that's part of this game. There's nothing. At the end of the day, you go out and you hit 15 stores and spend 7 hours, and you come home with 2 or 3 things. It's a tough day, but you got to take the good with the bad. And she's finally understood that. It's taken really a solid year and a half for her to really be comfortable with it, and get it to the point to where it's a legit source of income within the household.
So when the family finds something and you guys are out for the day and you guys find a bunch of stuff, what's your process? Does everybody have a role? Are you the only one that lists? I mean, do the kids take pictures? What do you guys do as a family?
As far as the kids are concerned, the one main thing I have them do is they do help with packaging. Like I said, my youngest one's very into it. I put up a video, probably a good 6 months ago, that he's to the point now where he goes through eBay to print shipping labels. I give him the weight and the size, and he can do the rest from there. He's solid with it. My wife, she helps out with the listing process. From time to time, when I start to get a little bit of a death pile, building up, she's good with Goat. She's really solid at getting some of the stuff. At the same time, I'll sit there and list on eBay while she's putting the same product on Goat. She's very comfortable with that platform. She helps with my Saturday shipments. I got to get into work on Saturdays by 8:30. My post office don't open until 9:30, so she does all my Saturday drop-offs for me. I do next day shipment 6 days a week. Anything that is purchased today is getting shipped tomorrow. I never miss a day of shipping. That's my promise on eBay. I feel that that's a commitment I make to my customers. So she helps me out with that big time as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm a one-day handling guy myself, and sometimes if I could ship it out in the same day and my wife's available to help me out, hey, let's do it. It's all about customer service, especially when there's so many people out there doing what you're doing. You mentioned that you mentioned eBay. What are some of the platforms that you're currently selling on?
Go and eBay and Poshmark are the three that I use the most. I have a handful of items listed on Macari. I might make 1 to 3 sales a month on Macari. I have very little interest on that site anymore. Poshmark, I got a full closet on there, hundreds of items. But eBay and Goat are the two killers. Goat is something really that over the last 6 months I've really put a lot of effort into. I've gotten quite a bit of listings put on there myself that weren't even shown on the site. And it's been a huge success since I've gotten on there. I love that site just for the fact that I feel I can get, real good value when it comes to a basketball sneaker where I may not get it on eBay. I do really well on there with football cleats. There's certain things that just do well for me on Goat. Those are the two I feel the best. And then eBay, tons of apparel and things like that.
Yeah, those are, I mean, especially if you're focusing on sneakers, Goat is a great app. Is that mainly what you sell on eBay and Goat?
Listen, if it makes money, I'll sell it. I'll tell you right now, on eBay, I have, sneakers, clothing, sporting equipment. I have curling irons. I have hair dryers. Listen, if you can sell it and it's got a yellow tag at Ross or Marshalls, I'll pick it up. I'm not shy to make money on it. And I've sold handbags myself. I take the time and learn the game. I mean, if I can learn, one big thing I look at is if I can learn one thing a day while I'm out in the field, something new that I didn't know, it helps me the next time I'm out. And I see that item out of the corner of my eye and I grab it. I've learned about a lot of women's clothing from my wife that I never would have looked at. And listen, I think if you can learn 1 or 2 things a day while you're out, it just makes you more well-rounded. I don't think you should pigeonhole yourself to one thing. Now, I know certain people like to have multiple stores and separate their listings. I don't feel that way. I say, why not throw it all in one closet? When somebody's looking through, they might stumble upon something. Oh my God, this guy's selling, Kobe's and he's got a curling iron for my wife on it. You don't know. You don't know. Throw it in there, put it out there for everybody to take a look at.
Have you ever had someone do that where they buy
Yeah,
2
absolutely.
items from your eBay store or from your Poshmark closet?
Yep, absolutely. And the one thing that you'll see too is when, people start contacting you and they start talking to you and strike up conversation, make sure you spend the time and talk to them. You don't know where if a simple joke or something to break the ice with them opens up conversation. It gives you an opportunity to tell them what else you have to offer. They may tell you, keep your eye out for this. I see how much product you have. I know you're selling all the time. If you come across these, let me know. I've made deals that way, going back to people who said, keep an eye out for a size 14 red basketball shoe. I find one. I hit them up. They go, yeah, I'll take it. You list it and they buy it. I mean, it's building a clientele that, is not only looking for a single product. You want to try to keep them as a customer for as long as you can.
Yeah, especially a returning customer and they experience your service and the product. Since you've been doing this reselling, have you always had a business model, or what is your business model as far as, are you trying to make a certain percentage off of each transaction? Are you one of those guys that just kind of focus on a particular dollar amount?
I don't really go for the particular dollar amount. My average selling price right now is probably in the $80 to $90 per item range. Um, my thing is I love to get a double up. I mean, if I can get a double up, that's ideal to me. If it's a triple up, that's even better. But listen, I'm also not going to turn down a 50% margin if I'm making $50 profit. So, I'm open to all kinds of different things. I'll dabble in pieces that are, $5 to $10 items. So if I'm paying $1 for them and I can, clear $10 on it, I'm all about it. That's fine for me. I'm at the point now where I can house, 20 to 40 of an item that I buy at $2 and I sell at 12. I'm good with that. I'm in it for the long haul. So that doesn't bother me at it.
Yeah, so you don't have an issue with storage
No, I
as
actually
maybe
have,
some other people. Yeah.
no, sorry to cut you off. I have, two storage units actually. I have two 10 by 25 storage units that I, pay for each month. And, my wife's really big on wanting to have the product. She's like, listen, we're spending this money each month on units. Why can't we, put an addition on the house or something like that? I don't like having product in the house. I bring it in, I process it as quick as possible, and it's off my property. And it's in a secure location. It's locked down. It's under camera. I actually have a shipping station set up within one of my units that I go to every day. I wake up early, I go to my unit, I package all my shipments, I come home strictly to print out the labels and then get my kids on the school bus, drop off at the post office on the way to work and start my day. And I do that every single day.
Wow. So Stevie.D. Reselling, you're open 24/7 from what it
You
sounds
know
like,
it.
which is
You
awesome.
know it.
Yeah. As far as shipping labels, are you one of those guys that has this nice label printer, or do you just use like a regular inkjet printer?
See that bad boy right there?
Yeah, I see it.
See that Dymo 4XL?
That's that Dymo. So you're
Yeah.
you're you're really selling a lot of items each day.
Yeah, listen, it was one of the things where for a long time I was just, printing out the white sheet of paper and taping them on the box. And, I go, listen, if I'm going to treat this like a business, let me make an investment in a proper piece. And I love it. I mean, I hear some people, oh, jams, I'm spending a ton of money on rolls. Listen, if you're running a business, it's stuff that's tax deductible. It's a write off to the business. Yeah, I think it's a wise investment to make. It expedites the process. It makes you look more professional. Yeah, I love it. I wouldn't go back to, sticking paper on a box ever again in my life.
When do you feel like is the right time to transition from like a laser, we're talking about the white paper, you're printing it out and taping
Mhm.
it into one of these nice machines. When do you feel is the right time?
I think really if you're to the point where you're shipping out, 5 to 10 packages a day, I think you're at the point where, it's worth it for you. I really do. I mean, if you think about it, if you're shipping out, 6 items a day, you're at 180 items a month. That's proper time to go ahead and get yourself something that's going to last. It's a good investment. And if you are in a family situation like I am, sometimes that extra 10 to 15 minutes matters. It's helps me in the morning to be able to speed up the process and get my kids, fed, dressed, and onto the school bus in the morning. So it works for me.
Yeah, I think that's very important. And I think, resellers that have families, you do have to balance the family time, and especially, you're packaging, you're going to the storage units, you're going shopping. It's like if you can save, even cutting down a box is important, where you're going to save time. Sometimes as a family man, time is more valuable than money.
Absolutely.
So you talked about your reselling in the Jersey area. You go to the Philadelphia market and the different cities around you. What's the competition like in your area, if there's any?
Um, From direct run-ins, I mean, I can go sometimes a month before I run into another reseller. In my area, there's 2 or 3 Amazon guys that I run into here and there. One's primarily a book reseller. Another one that I run into is constantly running through the clearance racks on Marshalls with carts full of underwear and socks. It's not my game. But as I start getting out closer to Philly, there are some other resellers. I mean, there's some names that you'll see on Instagram that I run into. And listen, I've never had a bad experience running into another reseller. I mean, I got respect for the hustle if they're in it for the long term. 2 or 3 of them that I know have done it for a few years. And listen, there's times where, we've gotten to the point where I'd rather tip them off if I know I'm not going to be able to get there and, let them eat, and hopefully they send the same courtesy my way. I mean, I just got a text message about an hour ago from another reseller out in about 45 minutes from me that, came across another 10 Carson Wentz salute to service jerseys, and he's already in it for $1,000, and he doesn't really want to drop the capital on more. I'm in a position where I can, and I'm contemplating hitting that store tomorrow morning, first thing when it opens, and picking up more. So, those are things that we do for each other. It's nice to have, friendly competition. We all can make money. There's plenty to go around, and it's not in my direct area. I think in my vicinity, there's one other guy. I did find his eBay store because I do look up my competition, and so he's here and there. He's I guess he does it as a part-time thing. I've walked in behind him when he's had some nice finds before, but I think I'm getting more than what he's getting from what I can see on eBay. So I think there's plenty to go around. In the Philadelphia market, though, itself, I'm 45 minutes outside of Philly. There's definitely more competition in Philly itself, which I would, expect in most big markets.
Yeah, I mean, that's key right there, is knowing your competition, knowing the market, doing the research. And one thing that I like that you said is that you built a relationship with your competition, because right now there's people out there that are finding these great finds, but they're not pricing it right. And
yeah,
I feel
that hurts, man. That hurts big. I'm a big proponent of being patient with your product and getting your true value for it.
No, oh, definitely, man. And I think if you have that position where you can do that, it's great. But tipping off your competition where that they're going to get the same product that you're going to get, but they're also going to price it the same. And I think right now, what is a big conversation, especially on IG, is that I see a lot is, man, people are showing off their finds, and then everybody's just going out there looking for their finds, and then they get it and they create a flood, and then the price just starts to tank, or it's like a race to the bottom. What are your thoughts on that happening in this reselling game that you talk about?
Well, I think, the main thing that I see is that the prominent resellers on Instagram, I think, are good businessmen and women. I think if you really dug deep and found the stores of most of these prominent Instagram personalities, that they don't price low. They do price at a higher price point, and they've gotten to the point where they will wait for the proper market value. I think, listen, I know I'm not going to say his name. There's 1 or 2 people on Instagram that are, they're on there. They love to show their hair. They love to, pose in front of the camera and make a $5 profit on each pair of shoes. That's not what I'm about. And if that's their business model, so be it. But let's guess what? They're going to buy 2 pairs of shoes. They sell them low. They get out, and they're not going to be in on that product again. So I think a lot of the people that are undercutting, honestly, are the ones that you're not seeing flexing on Instagram. I think they're people that are just watching. They're seeing what's being put out there. And I think a lot of them aren't going to be in it for the long haul. They might make a couple quick bucks, but listen, we've seen people come and go on Instagram already. They show up for a couple months. They disappear for 6. They come back for a month. They disappear again. If you're in it for the long haul and you do it properly and wait out the correct pricing on a piece you should get, you're going to be fine in the long haul. You can go on there and show all the Vapor Maxes you want. Guess what? You can sell yours off, and I'm going to wait for the price to raise again, and I'll get the fair market value for it. I have no issue with it personally. If I don't do it, where if the people who are doing it now don't do it, somebody else is going to flex. It's always going to happen. That's the internet right now, and it's never going to go away.
So you talk about being patient. You talk about the long haul. What does that time frame look like? Because ever since I started reselling in the beginning of the year, and I've been buying things, and you see the floods come, and then sometimes, because of my situation, I end up returning them, or I just kind of watch the market. But I kind of feel it's almost like a 3-month swing that you have to wait out. What do you think?
But yeah, that's sometimes longer. I mean, a perfect example right now is I just brought up to a couple people is the Untouchable Pros, the triple whites. I mean, this is a product that, I think February, March, April, people were finding all over the place and they were dumping them. I seen people on Goat selling them as low as $40, $45 a pair, and making a quick $20, which you're good with that double up, then so be it. I just sold one of those, was it 3 days ago? $115. The retail on that cleat is
Wow.
$120. Okay. Guess what? Everyone sold their product out and the market rose back up again because now it's football season. All right. It's a clean product, all white with a black trim. It goes with any kind of uniform. You got to know the product that you have and you got to be patient with it. If you go on Goat right now, there is no listings size 9 or less on this product. That product had tons of listings in June and July at that size. If people would have been patient and waited to got 70 or $80 instead of dumping it 40, they would have been better off for it. Look at a stock. People, you got to treat this product like a stock. Would you be happy buying a stock for $20 and then 8 months later getting out at $40 or $60 or $80? You'd be ecstatic with it. You got to be patient in this game. If you're in it for a quick flip, I'm sorry, this isn't the right game. It's not. And if you're putting all your effort and time in the returning product, that's time that you can be investing in something else and making more money. I think you got to wait it out. You got to wait for the long haul. Do I make bad buys? I think everybody makes a bad buy at some time. You can buy a pair. There's 8 pairs on eBay, and 2 weeks later, there's 250. That's why you use multiple marketplaces. You use local marketplaces. You got to mix up your game. You can't just pigeonhole yourself into one platform and think that's going to make it happen. There's times you can sell the same product on StockX. Listen, I sold a pair of KDs on StockX 2 nights ago for $150 that you'll be lucky to get 94 on eBay right now. You gotta diversify. You gotta be on different platforms.
Yeah, I think that's really key, and something that maybe new resellers or maybe old resellers, I think as human beings, you just get sometimes too comfortable in your situation where like, oh, I'm on eBay, everything's going good. I don't need to go on Poshmark. I don't need to do Macari. I don't need to do any of this other stuff because everything's going good. But like you said, that you have to diversify yourself and just put everything out there as long as you have the time and you can keep up with it. And so you don't want to be that person that you sell something on another platform and then it sells on another platform. And then now what do you do? And so now you're in a worse position, but definitely got to be smart about it. You talked about, buying stuff, and sometimes you buy a large quantity, then the price kind of changes. Do you have a return policy, or is it just as soon as I buy it, it's mine, I'm in it for the long haul?
Yeah, I'm in it for the long haul. I mean, the only time I typically will return anything is if I missed a damaged product in the store. I mean, sometimes I'm in a time crunch and I can't really comb over every single pair of a 10 box find. I'll trust in it, buy it. Sometimes I'll find a dirty pair that I can't clean. Those I'll take back. Bad buys though. I mean, listen, I'll tell you something. I've sat on pieces for a year and a half sometimes, and it finally sells. If it's got to take that, then that's what it takes. I don't feel it's right to be able to take 20 pairs of something back to a store and dump it because you tried to make money on it. Some people can do that. That's not my hustle. If I'm going to put money into it, 99% of the time it's in my inventory until it sells.
Okay. Do you ever think about maybe, not doing the retail arbitrage, but kind of doing stuff outside of the retail game? Do you ever think about that, or,
I
what's
mean,
your current state of?
Yeah, I mean, I've recently started looking into more online arbitrage as well. I've been starting to really monitor some restock websites and stuff like that. I did make a purchase the other day, a bulk buy online. So I'm trying to diversify myself into that kind of avenue right now. That helps out with some of the family time to where if I can make large bulk buys online, it saves me from having to be out in the field more. So it's something that I'm trying to get more involved in. It does give me more time to be able to work from home. So, I'm going to put a little bit more focus on that going forward as well.
Yeah, are you trying to make this your full-time job, or is this just something that you enjoy doing with the family?
I would love to be able to do it full time. Unfortunately, I do have a good career, make pretty good money. And, I'm one that's not going to make that change until I'm making the same amount of money in reselling that I'm making in my full time job. Listen, like you said, I'm in a family situation where I don't want to put my family in an uncomfortable situation because of a passion that I have. I respect the people that have made that jump. It takes a lot of balls to do so, but I'm not the kind of guy that wants to take on a ton of debt. I don't want to take on added stress that I don't need to take on. I'm in a comfortable work environment now. I'm well respected where I work. I make good money. There's no rush to get out of it. If I could choose my path, of course I'd love to be a reseller full time. And I'm working my ass off to try to get there. My family supports it as well, and they pitch in and try to get it to that position. Luckily I do have a wife who also has a full time career and does very well. That's a bit of a pressure relief, for myself to have that backup. We'll see where it goes at the end of the day. Do I go want to get into YouTube? I have some aspirations to want to do some filming and some YouTube myself. My kids enjoy it, obviously, as most kids enjoy watching YouTube. And, especially getting to be able to see themselves on there. It's something that I'm looking into in the future. And, just continue to work hard and grind and, continue. My goal is to double my business every year, and I've done so far over the last couple of years. And I'm on track to do that again this year. And if I can keep doing that, who knows where it'll get to.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Most resellers don't have goals, so it's just like, hey, this is extra money. You know, if I have time, I'll do it. But I think what you've said during this whole interview is if you treat it like a business and grow it and leverage it, I think that's key. I think that's gonna just help you go to the next step while you're looking at other people that are just not taking it as serious. And I think that's great. You also mentioned YouTube. I mean, you do have a large following, and I enjoy it when you go on Instagram Live and I see the kids just running into the store. But I think the reseller community needs more people like yourself to make content for everybody to see. And not that you're gonna try to flex on them, but I would encourage you if you get the opportunity, man, to go for it.
No, I appreciate it. And it's, like I said, it's just us having fun. The kids get a kick out of it. You can see they ham it up on camera. My older one's a little more shy. He's not into it. My wife also is not a big fan of being on camera, but little guy is. And I think we're gonna have some fun with it. I think it's something that we're gonna look forward to doing in the future. Build a little bit more of an Instagram base up. I've had a great last year of getting to really get to know some of the other resellers on Instagram. I think, we got a little bit of some fun going on. We got the fantasy football league going on right now with all the resellers. And listen, I think it's great for the community. It gets everybody together, gets them to talk and enjoy each other. And, you make some friends that you never would have made if it wasn't for Instagram, and, some great business contacts. And, I'm just going to continue to drive it and see where it goes to. I think the family's into it, and, we'll keep pushing and see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely keep us posted on that journey. What kind of advice would you give someone that's in your situation, Steve, as far as has a family, has a career, but wants to get into the reselling game? What would you tell them?
Listen, don't be scared. Give it a shot. I think that you have to really do your homework and know what you're getting involved in. I think everybody's financial situation is different. You gotta, find out, what kind of capital you can invest into it. Everybody's business model is going to be different, but I think what you got to really do is you got to set yourself up to where, if it does fail, you're not going to put yourself in a financial bind. You got to find out, what kind of timetable you're going to give yourself, and you got to set goals. One clear thing that I did with myself, I said, I got $500. Let's see what you can do with it. You gave yourself a year. If it doesn't work, then we cut it off. And, you got to set goals, clear goals that are achievable. Don't set unrealistic goals because that'll drive you right out of it instantly. Set a clear, obtainable goal and go after it. And I think that, if you put your mind to it and you really do the homework and invest yourself properly and, like you said, treat it like a business, I think you can be successful.
Yeah, well said. Where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram, Stevie.D.Reselling. Like I said, my posts will probably be picking up more now. Kids are back in school. It's been a busy couple weeks trying to get them prepped, ready to go. 4 nights a week they got sports practices, so it's a lot of, you can see me on there a lot during the daytime. I'm on the East Coast, like we said, so if you're on the West Coast, you get up in the morning having your breakfast, I'll be out in the streets hustling while you're eating. And some weekend grinds here and there as I'm out on travel hockey tournaments. In between games we'll hit spots. I'll be out in Hershey at Christmas time, so you're out in the Hershey area, I'll be, pillaging your area. So be ready for me. And, I'll be up in Staten Island in a couple weeks. So listen, I'm out hustling and doing my thing. And if there's money to be made, 20 minutes real quick, I can make a couple $100. I'll give it a shot. And, we'll be putting all those adventures online. And when my kids are with me, we'll do some live streams and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, looking forward to see that. Last question. What kind of advice would you give yourself 3 to 5 years ago, whether it's reselling or just in your personal life?
Listen, whatever you're going to go after, I think you got to go after it 100%. You cannot be scared to give it a shot. And if you're going to do it, you got to give it your all. I think, the one thing I've seen, whether it's in my business, people that I oversee a large staff in my store, and, whether it's in the reselling game, if you don't put 100% in, it's not going to work. And, you can grind along and do okay, but if you want to be a success, you have to go all in. You have to go all in, do it professionally. Listen, if you got to, suck up your pride sometimes and ask for advice and hit up somebody and see how they do it, and you're going to find people that are willing to mentor you. You're going to find people that are willing to help you out. I've met a lot of people so far that have really helped me with advice and, been willing to help me out. And that's one thing that I share with other people. I'm a guy, you hit me up on Instagram, I'll probably hit you back within 2-3 minutes. That's who I am. I'm here to answer questions and help out. And, karma is good karma to me sometimes. If I can help somebody else out and help them make a couple bucks, I think the shoe gods will look down on me and, bless me with a nice pair of Vapor Max or a high-end pair of cleats, So don't be shy to ask questions and learn, and be a sponge. Soak up all you can.
Awesome. Thank you. Stevie.D.Reselling, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you, Joey. Anytime, my man. Hope to be back again.
Yeah, definitely. We'd love to have you back on the podcast. Also, I want to thank the audience for tuning in. You can find today's guest on Instagram at Stevie.D.Reselling. You can find me on Instagram at eBayJoey. Remember, never forget why you started.
Music is brought to you by Chris Morrow, Crying Over You. Artwork is brought to you by Kevin Myers.